Morning, gorgeous. It's great to see you. Truly, it's great to see you. Just in case you wondered, just in case you're having a moment of doubt, it's great to see you. We're out here in the garden because the front garden is starting to happen, and so we've got to enjoy the anticipation and the camels. There's often a camel at 45 seconds, give or take. Let me show you some flowers. Okay, it's a little bit bright, so it's hard to see. Good morning, Catherine! But we have the earliest of the Sporaxis blooms starting to come out now. And you can see there's going to be a lot of them. And this one's very early. So imagine thousands, literally, of these things. They will cover the bed quite soon. You can see the buds coming up, just poking through. Good morning, Linda. Good morning, Lucy. And look, you can see the freesias over there, and you can see the iris, see the long leaves poking up. That's going to be flowers, I hope. Haven't seen those iris flower for many years because I never had them in the right place. And I just love this, the sun on the foliage, and you can see the water sparkling on the leaves. It's all beautiful. Good morning, Jen. Good morning, morning. Let's enjoy the dog's tooth violet. Kathleen, good morning. And look, you can see in the background, see that violet? I'll get closer to it in a minute. The violet, which doesn't have violet covered flowers, it has these crazy, it's been chewed, but it has these cute little oyster pink flowers. Good morning, Roberta. See if I can find you a fresh one. They're almost buried in the foliage. There you go. But they're so pretty. And this is a violet that I've never seen anywhere else because I found it in my grandmother's garden. And so I've had this thing for probably at least 40 years. Hello, Eric. Good morning. And good morning, Laura, because you won't be far away. And look, the lilies are coming up and the roses are making foliage, and we have cineraria. Oh, and we have white violets, which I love so much. They're like pompons. So, you know, the garden's going crazy. Look, more cineraria. You can't really see, but this one is actually more blue than purple. Jim, good morning. Good morning, good morning. And, you know, here's the magnolia. There are actually some flowers that are showing colour, but I can't get one of those close at the moment, so just enjoy the green of potential. Look at that. Isn't it beautiful? Yeah, I thought it was the two of you. You're inseparable, which is lovely. And look, white hyacinths. And there's a few of them there. They get a bit buried in here. I actually have to move them, which in itself is really tricky because they're right down here at the base of the magnolia, and you know what that means. It means there's roots in the ground, and it's hard to move things. So, I don't know. Minor detail in the great scheme. Here's some more of these lovely white hyacinths. I've actually got to move this bunch somewhere else. Right next to them, and over here and here and here are lots of blue ones, and they're gorgeous when they come out en masse, so you'll see that soon. What else have we got here? Iris, not quite woken up yet, but you can see this is the area that's been changed because there was a tree here that we removed. And I've got things to plant in this big space, but meanwhile the fence could use some attention. You know, it's a garden, it's a house, there's always stuff to do. And look, the lilies are coming up, sprouting, 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 so it's all going to happen, and we got to enjoy this. Yeah, a cocoon of a flutterby. Quite right, Jim. All of these shapes repeat through nature, yeah? And I can see more gorgeous people coming on. Sharon, good morning. Good morning, Alice. Great to see you. Let's get started, or I'll spend so much time celebrating the garden I never get to the point. So Shuffy made a really useful comment yesterday, and I know that we can all relate to this. Joshua, good morning. And it's this challenge where you're trundling through your day, and you've done your quantum creation, and you've remembered who you want to be, and, you know, you've rehearsed it, and you're practicing it, and all of that. And then some random thought comes into your head, or you see something in the media, which is a really common place to get bumped out of your space. Or, some person comes along and maybe they're a person that you've never seen before, but they do something random and it upsets you. Or there's somebody who's been upsetting you for 33 years. Doesn't matter. Something comes along, big, small, or in between, and bumps you out of your state. Sharon, good morning! and from thereafter, it's like your day is ruined. As Joe says, Joe Dispenza, my inspiration, I've broken a fingernail, the day is ruined. And always gets a laugh, and I think it's funny. And it's true, something small, and yet it blows your day to pieces. How does this happen? I've done all this work, I know who I want to be, and here I am not being that self. What the... Insert your word here. What the... So, I want to talk about that. And I think I'm going to start by talking about survival emotions and survival and how the brain is geared to do that. Because remember, these bodies and what we evolved from... So there are thousands and thousands and thousands of years of evolutionary programming which says that there's not enough. It's you or it's me. I and my family need this cave, so you can't have it. Anything unfamiliar in my environment that I don't understand has to be feared until I know that it's safe. It could be a predator, it could be a competitor, it could be somebody who wants to hurt me, it could be a dangerous plant that I've never eaten before and I don't know what it is, so I better not eat it because it might poison me, all of that, right? Yeah, it can only happen if you choose it, Jim. But the challenge is that we choose it unconsciously a lot of the time because we don't realise what's going on until, the first pebble falls and then there's this landslide that goes on in your head. And like, how in heck does that happen? So I want to talk about that. So we have these survival reflexes, reactions, responses. And the brain... It has two laws. This is Neuroscience 101. Thank you, Joe, for teaching me this in one of his workshops. There are two laws of the brain. There is the law of association. And in case I forget it, there is the law of repetition. Janice! G'day, g'day, g'day! Justin, good morning! So, the law of association says that the brain associates things by pattern recognition. So, I see, hang on, pushing the button. I see the orchidea and I see that it has this leaf that is this shape. Good morning, dove! And then I see the cineraria. Now, if I was an alien from another planet, I might wonder if these two things were the same sort of thing. I mean, they're both growing in the ground. They both got something growing on, they've got something green and they've got something that isn't green. This one's got something that isn't green here and it's in the middle of something on the end of a stem. But, I don't know, because I'm from another planet, that those are both plants. My brain is clear. I have nothing to tell me that those two things are both plants. But if I wander around the garden some more and I see, oh, hang on, here's a thing with the same shape, even though it's different, it's got the same, lines up the branch and there are leaves around it and there's something different in the middle. Well, maybe this and this are the same, sort of, even though they're different. And that's what I mean by pattern recognition. The brain associates things that are similar. And it also does that with experience, right? Because you have an experience of sitting in the sun. Imagine you're an alien, you've never done that before. You sit in the sun, you think, well, this is warm. This is nice. This body likes this. Okay, if I sit here for too long, I get sunburn. That's not so good. That's the second experience that's associated with the experience of feeling warm in the sun. I'm making a big assumption that you're an alien that's, got human skin that responds to the sun like that, and you're not all covered up in clothes because it's cold like today. So there you have your first experience of the sun being nice on your skin, and then you stay out too long because you don't know that it's going to burn you, and then you get sunburn and there's another experience. Those two things are associated. Hi, Steph! They're associated with the feeling of the sun being warm on your skin. A, this is nice. B, if I get too much, it's going to hurt me. And C, if I get too much and it hurts me, there's going to be a healing process, and after a while I'm going to know that it works like this. So That's the law of association. Another example of this, a really good one, is and this is straight from Joe because he's taught me so much. The people who say, oh, I just can't meditate. And he says, well, where are you meditating? Oh, I meditate in bed. Well, what does the law of association say about bed? You associate bed with sleep. So you're going to go to bed because you do that every day. Most of us anyway, unless you do shift work or, do some weird 24-hour things, which is pretty tough on you, but, wow you. You go to bed, you sleep. So the brain is thinking, I'm in the place for sleeping and I'm lying down, therefore I should be sleeping. And he says, get up, sit your body up and then meditate, right? Now, the other law of the brain is repetition. And using the same example, what does the law of repetition say about lying in bed to meditate? Not only do you go to bed to sleep, but every single day you do the same thing. So the brain is programmed by association and repetition that it's going to sleep when you go to bed. That's why you need to do something different. So, if you have a difficult person in your life and you have a history with that person of difficult interactions, challenges, whatever, you see that person and immediately all that history fires up in your memory, unless you've changed it, right? And your body is immediately getting into the state of being scared of them or being ready to fight them or whatever it is. By association, you see that person that you might just be walking past them on the other side of the street. They have no intention of interacting with you. But by association, your brain recognizes the threat and gets ready. It gets into survival. It gets ready to fight or run away or whatever. That's association. And the fact that you've had that history with that person for 29 years means that there's a lot of repetition. So those neural networks are not only really ingrained because you've had that bad experience for 24 years. I'm just, changing my numbers up to keep you paying attention, because repetition also lulls the brain to go to sleep. It does. Becomes automatic, becomes a habit. Every time, it was bad. So it's powerful. There's chemistry. You have this experience, and you're ready. You are ready to fight. Just seeing them on the other side of the street. And so now let's remove the person from the other side of the street. You're sitting at your table on Saturday morning with a cup of coffee or tea or water and kombucha or whatever it is you drink, and you're thinking, you're just watching your day. You're not even really thinking very much. And on your table in front of you is a newspaper. And there's a person on the front of the newspaper who's nothing to do with that person. But there is some element of the photograph of that person, some small element that you're not even conscious of, that reminds you of them. Bernadette, good morning! Reminds you of that person in that 27 and a half years of challenge. And you haven't even noticed that your brain, which notices everything, but you haven't noticed that it's noticed, that your brain is going, oh, that reminds me. And I have watched myself do this. It happens in meditation. I'm having this really amazing experience, and then by association, my brain hooks off into something that's similar. And I can actually trace it and think, oh my God, here I was having this amazing experience, and suddenly I'm thinking about that thing that's going to happen tomorrow or whatever that happened yesterday, And my brain has just fired something that is connected by association. And the repetition of it then, just makes it stronger. So you're sitting at your table with your cup of coffee, and suddenly your thinking turns dark and you think, what the hell happened? What happened is your brain idly, in passing, noticed some aspect of that photograph which reminded you of some experience in the last 14 and a third years that you had with that person, which was painful or made you angry or whatever. And the thought sort of comes up out of your subconscious and it fires in the brain. And then something similar comes up next to it and fires. And you start thinking this weird chain of like, where the hell did that come from? Yeah, all of the associations and the repetitions are part of what we are changing. I wouldn't say that you're up against it. Don't set yourself up for that, Jim Love. But realise that this is how it works, right? This is what happens. And this is why a small thought can turn into a total landslide of negativity. And why? You did exactly the right thing, Shafi. You got your attention off it, okay? That's the important thing, because if you just keep thinking about it, more and more neural networks are going to fire up, more and more corresponding chemistry is going to pour into your body. You're going to feel more and more and more like the person you've been for the last 28.3 years. And you're going to keep doing that and reinforcing and repeating that association and that experience, and it's going to be you again. You don't want that. This is why you have to change your focus. But this is what is happening. And it doesn't matter if you can't figure out what it was that pushed the button. Sometimes it's really obvious, and sometimes it's so obscure. You think, how the hell did this... But that is how it happens. I've watched it enough times happening in meditation to think, oh my God, I was here and now I'm 50,000 miles away thinking of, oh, hang on, I can see how that was connected, right, but I'm coming back to the present moment. I don't want to be thinking about a person or a place or an object or anything. I just want to be here now, not thinking about that stuff. And I've got better at catching myself and stopping me. And that's why I managed to notice it before, the other day when I told you. I caught myself much more quickly. So we get better at breaking this loop. But remember, all that repetition and association is about survival. It's about, if you've been chased by a saber-toothed tiger and you escape it, you are going to need to remember how you did that. So the brain says, right, anything that looks a bit like a saber-toothed tiger, I need to be able to quickly and automatically recall all that useful information about how I survived the last attack. That's what's happening in the brain. And it doesn't matter whether the quote-unquote, the metaphorical saber-toothed tiger is real or imagined. To the brain, it's the same. If you perceive it as a threat and you entertain it as a threat instead of saying, hang on, my brain is perceiving a threat, I'm suddenly off on a tangent, I'm losing the plot here. But, no one's pointing a gun at me. There are no predators in the room. Hang on, I'm reacting like there is a predator in the room. Whoa, I'm doing this to myself. I need to stop this. I need to change my focus. And it's a practice. Norma Jane! It is totally a practice and it's a journey, but I wanted to explain that's how it works. That's why it is like that. And, you can use that same evolutionary thing to your advantage if you realise, okay, this is what's happening. I've got this really enriched neural net that automatically goes off because it's about surviving those experiences, whatever they were. Now I need to build a new neural net. So this is about knowing who you want to be. Good morning, Jasmine. It's about knowing who you want to be, what you want to do, how you want to think, how you want to feel, and actually getting really clear about, if I'm not like that, if I'm not scared witless all the time because I'm just so afraid of the next time that threat's going to emerge, and it's happened so often, it's like, I just know this is going to happen, and my whole body is saying, I know this is going to happen because it's happened so much. But remember, when you are in that state, that is a clear intention. I know this is going to happen, and it's going to be awful, and I can just feel it, and I know it, and your body has a very clear elevated emotion about it. It's not a positive elevated emotion, but it's an elevated emotion. That is a clear signal to the universe. The universe has to endorse who we're being. It's tough, but it's true. So we have to become aware of it, which can be, oh my God, how do I change this? It's, it's like sitting, not even in front of a mountain, it's like the mountain's on top of you. But we have to realise that right now I am safe. Yeah. It's a real, it takes determination, and for me it took really good tools. But I had to apply them, and I had to apply them before I really understood them, and I had to apply them before I really believed in them. But I looked at other people who'd done what I wanted to do. Nora, honey! I looked at other people that had done what I wanted to do, and I let them inspire me, I let them encourage me, I let them show me what was possible, and I thought, okay, well, if I want to be like that, how would it be if I am like that? And just asking the question, how would it be? Who would I be? How would I think? What would I do? What would I not do? Who would not be there? How would my life be? Where would I be living? What would I, all of those open-ended questions, you're firing up new neural nets in your head. You're making new connections. You're speculating and creating a new life. Don't even look for the old habits, Bernadette. This is the trap we fall into, is thinking, oh, well, I have to resolve my trauma about being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. No. For me, I have to create and imagine what it's like to feel so safe. Like, there are no saber-toothed tigers. The species is extinct. Okay, that's not very green, but you know what I'm saying. So we need to put all the attention on who we want to be. And let me tell you, the more you put your attention on who you want to be and you practice that and you embody it more, I'm shifting such ingrained, deep stuff in myself right now. So I'm speaking from experience. To create that new self, the more I become the new self, the more the me that isn't that comes up and yells at me. I do not have to go looking for that self. I just have to be determined about being the new self, and everything in me that isn't that, I am going to find it at the very point when I'm ready to move through it. If that makes sense. We don't have to go digging. Just create. Put your attention on who you want to be. It's the thing to do. Don't do the analysis thing. Put your attention and your energy, because where your attention goes, energy flows. Put your energy into being who you want to be. You will find out what your resistances and blocks are all along the way. They will come to you when you are ready to change them. You can analyse until the cows come home, but if you haven't actually got the new self that you're wanting to move into, it's like you can't move out of the old self. You've got to actually grow into the new self. And when you, like the lobster, are something too big for your carapace, it'll split and you'll move out of it. Put your intention on who you want to be. That is how we do it. And it's challenging, but it's also so worth it. I can't tell you. I can only say it's so worth it. You will not believe how good your life can be. I wouldn't have believed my life could be this good 18 months ago. Not in a million years. So, and I just remembered what I need to say. 2 notices. I meant to say this at the beginning. Clearly not. First, I am going to move these lives. I'm not going to go away, but I'm going to move these lives to my page. Maddie Schaefer Manifestation Coaching. Now, I'm pretty sure I've invited everybody. If you're brand new, probably not. I will. But if you haven't found my page and liked it, and no, I haven't put the link in the post, then please do, because I'm going to move across. I have to make space for growth. It's happening faster. This is what I wanted. It's going to happen on the page now. Not today, but soon. I'm starting waving the flag. So please, if you haven't liked, or ask me, I'll put the link somewhere. Ask if you can't find it. That's the first notice. The second notice is it's Tuesday. And that means that in 3.5 hours it's going to be Sang Marie Tuesday, and I will give you an update on what our beautiful Sang Marie Gomez is doing in the Gambia. It's interesting times there, but I'm still so proud of him and what he's creating. Big love. Thank you so much for joining me. Remember, where you put your attention is where you put your energy. Put it on who you want to be. I'll see you in 3.5 hours, or tomorrow, or both. Big love.